Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Jordan. This is the most try to be trendy video I've ever made. I love TBR games. I love watching people every month who have little games to pick their TBRs, and I have been trying to casually brainstorm, rack my brain for ideas of a TBR game that I could try. However, it's never come to me. I can't really think of any good game ideas, and I also struggle with the idea of setting monthly TBRs for myself in general. It's not something I'm super accustomed to. I'm gonna try to do it this year, but I haven't really done it in years past. So I had this idea, and it's kind of a compromise. So as you may know, this game called Wordle has been taking over the world and the internet by storm. It's a word game that you can play once a day. I will have a link to it below. I'm not going to explain all of the rules of the game. It's really simple. If you've never played before and you go to that website, it'll explain the rules for you so you can play. But basically, there is a new word every day that you have to try to guess within 6 guesses. And I love playing it, just like so many people love playing it. And I thought I had the brilliant idea to turn it into a TBR game, but instead of waiting for the beginning of February and to set an entire monthly TBR, I thought, let's just do it for a week. Let's try this game, see if I can pick my next week-long TBR. I have kind of a break right now between videos, so I don't need, quote-unquote, need to be reading anything, so I just have my owned TBR in front of me. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 books, and we're just gonna do like a word association thing. I'm gonna do today's Wordle and see what word it is, and if it matches or kind of correlates with any of the book titles or authors or book covers or anything that I have, then I'm gonna read that book. And I'm gonna do that throughout this week, so I'm hoping to get to around 3 books, 3 Wordles, and then I'll go ahead and vlog those books so you can hear my thoughts on them. But that is how we're picking them, and then we'll see. Maybe in the future I'll want to turn this into like a monthly TBR idea, or maybe I'll fall in love with it and maybe it's not Wordle, but I'll pick a different game to do TBRs with. I don't know yet, but I want to play, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my screen recording. We're live, and then I'm going to bring up Wordle. Again, I'll post the link to this game in the description so that you can play it. I am going to record like my guesses and everything, because by the time this video goes out, it won't be today's Wordle, so it's not cheating or anything. But people are very sensitive about don't post that day's Wordle answer somewhere if that day hasn't passed. You know what I mean? Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So the first word that I always always guess is learn. I don't really have any rhyme or reason for it. I just like to use a word with 2 vowels and some consonants that I think are common. And so it looks like the R is correct and it's in the correct place, but the E is also correct. It's in the word, but it's not in the right place. Let's see, see what word I can think of. I'm gonna go with fiery. Okay, R is still in the right place. Obviously, E is still not in the correct place, and we have an I. How about shire? Is that a real word? Okay, we got it. The word is shire. I'm gonna be completely honest and say that I don't know what shire means. So let's go ahead and Google the word shire real quick. Shire is a county, especially in England, used in reference to parts of England regarded as the stronghold of traditional rural culture, especially the rural Midlands. Interesting. So I'm gonna stop my screen recording. Shire. I wonder if any of the books that I have here are English or are written by English authors. Let me check a couple. Let's see, is the Sundown Motel English? No, that's set in New York City. The Tattooist of Auschwitz is obviously not English, but is European. Red Rising, is he English perhaps? No, Pierce Brown is American. Shoot. Okay, I'm feeling a little bit stuck, you guys. Let me scroll through my want to read shelf on Goodreads and look at the setting of each book, and let me see if any of them are set in England. Okay, unfortunately, none of mine are set in England. Let's see if we can find some synonyms for shire. County, division, constituency, country, expanse, field, ground, terrain. Okay, after much deliberation, I don't have any books on my TBR that are clearly set in an English Shire or are written by English authors or have an English setting or anything like that. So I'm going to use the fact that a shire sounds like it's like a rural countryside type of setting, like fields and land and things like that. And so I'm gonna pick a book that has kind of that on the cover. So I'm gonna pick Woman 99 by Greer McAllister. This does work out nicely because this is a book already on my January TBR. I need to read this book for a neighborhood book club that I kind of run. A description of this book: it is a historical thriller, which is not something that I've read a lot of, not something I've heard a lot about. So obviously kind of a combination between historical fiction and a mystery thriller. And it's about a woman whose wealthy parents committed her beloved sister to the infamous Golden Grove Asylum, which I believe is set in the US. It looks like they're from San Francisco originally, so possibly in San Francisco. And it looks like our main character follows her sister into the asylum, trying to find out if there's more to the story and solve some mysteries. I don't really know what she's gonna find. I think this is gonna be really interesting. It looks like it's under 350 pages, so should hopefully be pretty quick. I do also have the audiobook for this book, which helps and will help me get through this book a lot faster. So I'm gonna read this, I'm gonna let you know my thoughts, and then I'm gonna be back for my next Wordle to pick my next book. Hello you guys, it is evening, a couple days later. Please ignore my laundry back there, my messy file cabinet back there, ignore everything in the background. I'm on my floor. I will explain why in a second, but I did finish Woman 99. Oh, and excuse that ugly red cord right there. I am so sorry. I finished Woman 99 and I have thoughts. It's pitched as a historical thriller, which I think is incorrect. I would not call this a thriller at all. I would say it is definitely a historical fiction. It's got a little bit of almost creepy factor because it is set mostly at an asylum, but it's really not all that scary. It's mostly sad for the women who are at this asylum. So again, a synopsis about this book is we are following a main character whose sister was sent to this asylum by their parents. And the main character doesn't think that the sister deserved that, so she is following her sister to the asylum, basically sneaking her way in there kind of, in order to save her sister and bring her home. And in doing that, she has to act insane or act like someone who should be admitted into the asylum so that she can infiltrate. And then she ends up meeting a bunch of other women who are at the asylum who she also believes don't deserve to be there. And then again, she's trying to save her sister. I found the majority of this book to be pretty slow, especially the very beginning of it. There was a lot of description about the asylum itself and a lot of flashbacks about what had happened to our main character and her sister with their family that led them to the situation they're in now. And it was like 15 or 16% into the book when there started being actual dialogue happening and actually interesting things happening, not just description. And I remember checking my phone because I was listening to the audiobook when that first happened. I was like, oh, finally, something I'm like interested in. And it was at like 15 or 16%. I will say that this book came together at the end. I did eventually like the personal growth that our main character went through and her relationships that she developed with the other women at the asylum. So generally, I did come to enjoy this book, but it was kind of a slog to get there. So I am going to rate this book 3 stars. I would recommend it if you do like historical fiction, not really a thriller aspect at all. And if the asylum setting sounds particularly interesting to you, I thought that was also an interesting part, learning about these women at the asylum, how they were treated, and everything like that. So with that, I am done with that first book and I'm ready to pick my second book. Now, I did already complete today's Wordle. I actually did it at work, so I wasn't able to film like myself doing it. And there's no way I could have waited till this evening because I talked to too many people about Wordle. But I did record, I did screen record as I was playing today's Wordle. And the word Wordle ended up being point. So I am now sitting on the floor because all of my books are in my bedroom on the floor, or all of my unread books, I should say. So I'm going to try to find a book that has something to do with a point. The first things that I think of are like hands, fingers pointing. I don't know that I have anything like that. Red Rising kind of has the feather is kind of pointing. That's probably not the best fit. This book called Dare to Know has all of these like squares on it, which come to a point. So there's some points on that cover. Don't know if that's the best fit either. Let me keep looking. Oh, I have the book Blink. What if that was a Wordle word one day? That would make it very easy to pick. Or Count would be 1, 2, 3. That would be a good one. Ooh, actually, this one. So I have the Sundown Motel by Simone St. James, and if you can see, it's a sign with an arrow, and arrows point at things. So I feel like this is my winner. I'm not seeing anything else jump out at me with a clear point on it. Maybe if I read sports romances, it could be like scoring points, but I do not read those. So I think I'm gonna go with this one. So this is gonna be my next read. This is a mystery thriller. Let's read a little bit of the synopsis. So the first point of view, it looks like, is upstate New York in 1982. When a woman wants to move to New York City, and to pay for it, she takes a job as a night clerk at the Sundown Motel. Something's not right, something haunting and scary. And then we're also following someone in 2017, another woman, who the previous woman was her aunt, and she mysteriously disappeared from the Sundown Motel, and so our main character in 2017 is trying to figure out what happened. So sounds like a creepy motel. I'm hoping that this gives me more thrills than the last book, but I will of course check in when I have opinions and let you know. Okay, hi guys, it is several days later. It is Monday morning. I am at work. I actually just pulled into the parking lot but wanted to check in before I walked in. I am on page 159 of the Sundown Motel, and my audiobook app tells me that that is 49% of the way through, so right at halfway. It is okay so far. I'm not super invested. So like I said, it's about these two women in two different timelines. Carly is in 2017, Viv is in 1982. They both worked at the Sundown Motel, and Viv was Carly's aunt, and Viv went missing back in the day, so Carly is investigating it, but both of them are actually ending up investigating a bunch of different murders and disappearances that happened like at or around the Sundown Motel. So it's more than just the story of what happened to Viv, it's also what happened to all of those girls. It's okay. I can't say I'm super invested in all of those other cases. I don't know if I've just been reading a lot of like serial killer type stories lately, or if it's just that I don't really care about serial killer type stories. I don't know. I've never been a big true crime serial killer person. So for some reason that doesn't super interest me. Both women are getting help from like local people in the town who seem to know things about the town's history and the cases and everything like that. It's making me think that obviously at least one of those people is suspicious. I don't know which one, I don't know if all of them, or I don't know if like someone who's helping Viv and somebody who's helping Carly are maybe related in a similar way, like their family too. That could be a possibility. So I have 50% left, like I mentioned. So I will check in once I finish my book and once I am picking my next one. Hello everyone, it is the next day, the next morning. We are about to leave for work and drop the kids off. Got Lo playing down there. This is right here, post meltdown, so she's a little bit iffy right now. But wanted to pop in because I did finish the Sundown Motel last night. My thoughts are pretty much the same as they were yesterday. I thought it was okay. I was not super invested in the mysteries going on. I was fairly satisfied with the ending. Something interesting about Simone St. James's books, and the other one she's read, I think is called The Rono Girls maybe, and I read that one too, and it's interesting that she includes like paranormal elements, like ghosty elements, and I think, yeah, Lo's looking at the book, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think some people probably like that because I know that a lot of times when it's a question of like, is it paranormal? Is it real? A lot of people are annoyed when it's explained by real things. So I think it's interesting that Simone St. James includes paranormal elements that really are paranormal. And that's not a spoiler because that's not the mystery that we're solving. It's not whether or not they're causing the things to happen. They're just there. I just don't particularly love or connect to ghosts, so I don't love that. So since I finished that book, I can go ahead and pick my next book. I did today's Wordle already. You okay? Can you cover your mouth please when you cough? Today's word was sugar. Unfortunately, I don't have a great fit for that either. I don't read a lot of romance that could be classified as like sweet like sugar. I was trying to look if any of the characters in my books were bakers or chefs or someone who would use sugar in their daily lives. Came up short there too. Krissa. So we're stretching it a little bit. I'm gonna go with Tell Me Lies. Oh, I'm gonna cover your face. I'm gonna go with Tell Me Lies by Carola Levering. Let me read the description and explain why I picked it. It's not a great fit, I know, but the closest that I could find. Is that Mama's book?
Pink.
It is pink. So Lucy Albright is eager for a fresh start when she arrives at her small California college and immediately embraces all that college life has to offer. New friends, wild parties, stimulating classes. And then she meets Stephen DeMarco, charming, attractive, complicated, devastating. Confident and cocksure, Stephen sees something in Lucy that no one else has seen, and she's quickly seduced by the sense of possibility that his attention brings her. What are you doing? Meanwhile, Stephen is determined to forget an incident buried in his past that, if exposed, could ruin him, and his single-minded drive for success extends to winning and keeping Lucy's heart. Lucy knows there's something about Stephen that isn't to be trusted. Stephen knows Lucy can't tear herself away, and their addicting entanglement will have consequences they never could have imagined. So I believe it's a thriller. I'm gonna say it fits for sugar because it uses the word addicting, and sugar is addicting. And it seems like Stephen is maybe trying to come off as like a good guy when he's maybe not a super good guy. So he's trying to be sweet like sugar. I don't know, you guys. Again, it's a stretch. I know it is. But we're gonna say the color also being pink and red like this is very bright, like candy. So that's what we're going with. This is gonna be the last book I read for this vlog. So I will check in when I have an update with the book and then eventually to close out this vlog. Krissa, can you say bye-bye?
Bye-bye.
Hello, can you say bye-bye? Okay, bye. Another day, another parking lot at work update. It is one day after I started Tell Me Lies, and this bookmark is not accurate. I need to find out where I am. Looks like I am 62% of the way through this book. I'm on chapter 31, so let me find what page approximately that is. Approximately page 228 out of like 370. So I've got like 150 pages to go, and this one's an interesting one. First of all, it's not a thriller. I thought it was a thriller. It's not. It's like a contemporary romance kind of, but it's a very toxic romance, at least the relationship that we're mainly following. We're getting the perspective from Lucy, and we get her on a couple different timelines. Like we get her in 2017 after she's graduated college and has been in her career, and then we're also getting her in like 2010 through 2012 so far, which is when she's in college, and she's been in and out of a relationship with this guy named Stephen, who we also get his perspective from those college years. And Stephen is a real tool bag. He is super manipulating. He is always with other girls. Even if he's in a relationship with one girl, he's still like keeping his options open, and so he's really stringing Lucy along for all of these years, but Lucy really feels something for him. So I'm very interested to see where this goes, because so far it's very I don't know if I would say like directly relatable for me, because I don't think I've ever been in a relationship quite like this, but it's relatable in the sense that I can totally see how this would happen, because girls, you know, in high school and college are so fragile and can put so much stock into what guys say to them and about them. So I get it. It's hard to read though. And our main character is also struggling with an eating disorder. So I would say both of those things are kind of triggers. If you are triggered by manipulative relationships or eating disorders, definitely be careful going into this one. But all that being said, I am liking it because it is so hard-hitting and realistic. And I'm hoping that at the end, it all kind of comes together with some real impactful messages and lessons learned for our main character and everything like that. And I'm pretty much flying through it. Like I said, I just started it yesterday and I'm expecting to hopefully finish it today. I've been mostly listening to it on audio because that's how I can get through it the fastest when I'm driving to work and home from work and when I'm at home doing chores and stuff. So I hope to finish this tonight, but wanted to give you a little midway update to let you know how I'm feeling, because so far I'm liking it. Better than the first 2 books for sure at this point. Hey guys, yet another angle of my very unorganized, unmade life and bedroom. I'm here for my final check-in because I have finished Tell Me Lies, and I did listen to this book exclusively on audio, so I don't know why I continued to use a bookmark because I never ended up picking it up physically, but I'm a little nervous to review this book because after finishing it, I went on Goodreads as I normally do and I read some reviews to help me kind of solidify my thoughts. And there are some people who really hate this book, and I can't say I blame them because I get it. The characters in this book are incredibly unlikable. The guy, like I mentioned, is super manipulative, and as someone on the outside and really on the inside, because we're getting his perspective, you can just see how messed up he is and how toxic and abusive and just terrible this guy is. And the whole time you're reading it, you just want to scream at him for being the way he is and scream at Lucy, our main character, for falling for him. And because she doesn't stop, she's somewhat unlikable, and she never, you know, sticks up for herself. So I get why people don't like this book. I still enjoyed it, and it's not because I think any of that is good, obviously, or even entertaining. There is just something about it that resonates with me a little bit, and not because I was in a similar relationship, but I would say more because I've had friends in relationships like this, or I've seen people in my life in toxic relationships that aren't necessarily the same as this, but you know, when you see something and you just want to scream at the people and be like open your eyes, like see what's right in front of you. That's what this whole book is, and it's kind of nice, I thought, to have a book kind of put that into words in a way. You know what I mean? I feel like it was intentional to make you feel those feelings, and it's just whether or not you want to feel those feelings. And it's interesting, as I was reading and listening to this book throughout the past couple days, I found myself, like, when I was in a bad mood because of something that happened in my life, I would be extra mad at the characters in this book. Whereas when I'm in a good mood, I would be a lot more empathetic towards the characters in this book. So I just found that interesting, that I could literally notice, like if I got in the car after work and I was annoyed at something that had happened at work, I kind of continued that annoyed feeling at this book. And to some people that's probably not a good sign, like you want a book to maybe pull you out of what's going on in real life, but I don't know, it just made me, I guess, connect with it more because it felt very real and relatable. So there were also some, I don't know if I'd call them twists at the end, but just like reveals, things that happened that I found somewhat surprising. I didn't see them coming. This is by no means a thriller, so do not go into this expecting a thriller or a suspense or anything. It's really just a contemporary, hard-hitting contemporary, I would say. But I am gonna give it 4 stars. I know that some of my friends are watching this right now and you're screaming at me, you're mad at me. I know, Gwen, I hear you. I know you're mad, but I can't help what I felt, you know? I felt things reading this book and I liked it. So it gets 4 stars from me, and it seems like people either really, really love or really, really hate this book. So if it sounds like something that you are in the mental headspace to read, again, if you're going to be triggered by this toxic relationship or by our main character's eating disorder, I would hesitate to recommend it to you without you further looking into those trigger warnings. But if you think it's something that you can handle and you think that it's something that you could connect to, I don't know, I would give it a try. Just know what you're getting into. Know that the characters are super hateable, but there's still a compelling story here. So with that, that concludes my Wordle Chooses My TBR for the last week and a half-ish. Not sure if I'm going to continue this game exactly going forward because I did have to stretch these prompts quite a bit to fit my TBR. That's partially on me because I don't have a huge owned TBR, so I don't have a ton of options to pull from, but I thought it was fun to try. Let me know what you thought, and otherwise let me know if you enjoy fun and creative TBR games or ways of picking books to read that aren't just you know, picking because I want to read them. I kind of like the idea of doing more experimental, like week-long videos like this instead of diving into a straight monthly TBR game, but we will see what happens in the future. To wrap up the books, again, I read Woman 99, which was 3 stars. I read the Sundown Motel, which was 3 stars, and I read Tell Me Lies, which was 4 stars. And I knocked 3 books off of my own TBR, which is always a good thing. So I'm pretty satisfied with this week of reading. But other than that, I don't think I have anything else. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one.